Very recently, I've seen a lot of similar conversations being had, and it's all around kind of, when's the online bubble gonna pop, right? When's the coaching industry gonna pop? When's the SMMA space, when's that bubble gonna burst? And when is it all gonna come crashing down, right? Because at the moment, it's almost like everything's too good to be true, right? It's almost like at the moment, it's too easy to make money. And, we've seen this happen before, like in the dot-com boom and whatnot, right? It was so easy to make money, but eventually it's gonna burst, it's gonna pop. And as I say, it's a very common conversation that's been had recently. So I wanted to create a video going through kind of my thoughts on, how you can increase your profit and get ahead of the competition. Because right now, the SMMA space, the coaching space, the consulting space, it's very, very, I wouldn't say saturated, but it's more popular than ever is probably a better way to put it, right? Every single person is jumping into it. So how do you compete with that ridiculous competition? How can you still get to 100, 200, 300, 400K a month with your consulting or coaching business? Or SMMA typically can't really do it because it's done for you. The mechanism's super, super inefficient at scale, but that's a video for another day. But how do you compete? And how do you, as I say, stay ahead of your competition and make more profit? Well, it really comes down to two main things, right? You've got product and you've got marketing. Right? These are the two kind of main areas, and these are the two areas that you compete on, right? It's typically product and marketing. You've also got brand, which comes into it. So if you've got a better brand than somebody else, then you could have the same product, you could have the same marketing, and you would probably make more profit than them. You would probably do, you'd probably beat them if they're your competition just because of your brand. But let's say, everything else the same, everything else is consistent apart from the product and marketing. This is where we can play, right? This is the grounds in which we can play on, okay? Or compete on. What would you do? Well, you can, number one, make the product better. That's the first thing, okay? You can make your product better, because if you make your product better, then typically two things arise from that. Number one, the transformations realized are higher. Right? So if you help your customers, install a sales teams, right, into their company. Well, now, if you make your product better, then maybe those sales teams now produce bigger numbers for your customers. So the transformation that you can now promise is much higher, right? So now it's instead of, install a sales team and hit 100K a month, now because you made your product better, the sales teams in which you install are actually capable of doing 300K a month. So then it's like, okay, well now instead of, in your marketing, kind of goes into marketing, then it's like, well now in your marketing and your advertising, you can now guarantee or promise 300K a month as opposed to 100K a month, right? And that stems from focusing on your product. Now, another area that we can focus, or another kind of second level benefit from focusing on the product is certainty, right? So maybe before, 60% of your customers, right, using the sales team example, 60% of your customers realized 100K months through the sales teams that you were installing into their business, right? But now, because again, you made the product better, you made it more reliable, you made it more efficient, and obviously by extension consistent. So now instead of only 60% of your customers realizing 100K months through the sales team, now it's 90% or 95%, right? So you increase the certainty of the transformation being realized, right? So this is typically the two main ways that, or the two benefits that come or that stem from focusing on product and making your product as good as it possibly can be. Sometimes this will also mean innovating at the product level as well, meaning not just like focusing more on the product, but also bringing something new to market, bringing a new mechanism to market, doing something different, right? For example, Scale Clients.io is a perfect example of this. We were very much competing at the same level with our competition for a very long time. We were up, with our previous programs, which was Quantum Leap and Centurion, we were offering similar things as what our competition was. But now with Scale Clients.io, we've, innovated at the product level. So now what we've tacked onto our main core offering is a 6-month one-on-one done with you product program structure, whatever you want to call it. We've bolted that on to our actual Scale Clients.io content, which is like the info side of it. As I say, we've bolted on a 6-month one-on-one, which now means every single customer, every single Scale Clients.io customer who comes on board literally joins, they get imported into a Slack channel with myself, my head coach, and our customer success manager, where we work with them 24/7 for 6 months one-on-one with the customer themselves. And the customer can also add in anybody they want on their end as well into the channel from their team. And as I say, my team and myself personally, we work one-on-one with the customer. So now our product is so much more effective, and because of that, the results that Scale Clients.io customers get are on such a much higher level, which means the transformations that we can promise, the transformations that we can advertise are much higher, which means it's going to resonate better with prospects and new customers. And also the certainty of our customers, achieving whatever it is that they personally want to achieve. Typically the transformation that we're currently kind of promising is 0 to 40K a month, and then from 40K a month to 100K a month and beyond. That's kind of like, what Scale Clients.io currently has been built around. And so, the certainty in that actually being realized for our customers is extremely high, because we've innovated at the product level, and we've added, we've bolted on this 6-month one-on-one where it's literally harder for our customers to not achieve, 40K months, 100K months in their business than it is for them to achieve it. It's harder for them not to, because we're working with them each and every single day, right? Our customers get 3 calls a week as well with us. Community calls, 3 calls a week, and then every single day inside of the one-on-one Slack chat. Like, it's so difficult for our customers to not realize that desired transformation. And then obviously on top of that as well, you've also got the content itself, which is the roadmap. So typically what customers will do is they'll come into the program, they'll consume the content, and then they know exactly what they need to do. And then they come to the Slack channel, and we work with them one-on-one to get it implemented. It's like, okay, what specific issues are you struggling with right now? Okay, it's this. Let's help you specifically with this. Okay, you're trying to implement this concept here. Or you're trying to build this piece of content, or you're trying to, create this VSL, or you're doing outbound prospecting, you're running ads. What are you doing? Oh, doing this, and this. Where are you struggling? I'm struggling with this. Okay, perfect. We can help you specifically with that because of the one-on-one, right? And so, as I say, as a byproduct, transformations that we can promise are bigger, and the certainty in our customers realizing the transformation is much higher. And these two things here, this is where it becomes super powerful, and this is where this is really where you can start to get a hold of your competition and start to really just crush them, because these two things here are both the 2 functions of pricing, right? Pricing, what you can charge for your product, has 2 functions to it. It's the transformation, so like the thing that you're promising, what are you promising? And then it's the certainty of the prospect, it's the certainty that the prospect has in them realizing that transformation, right? If, so anyone could come up to you right now and promise you a transformation of $1 million a month, but your certainty in that happening is not high whatsoever. So you're not gonna pay a lot for it. You may pay them $10, right? Or whatever it is. You're not gonna pay them a lot. But then if I came to you and you came through the entire Scale Clients.io, you've seen exactly what's in it, and we promise you 100K a month, trust me, after you've kind of seen the structure of Scale Clients.io, your certainty in that would be extremely high. And that's because we innovated at the product level. They're 2 really, really powerful ways to, as I say, just literally beat your competition. Like, now I don't worry about competition, because I now know truly, and I 100% believe this as well, our customers can go to our competition. They can try the big names in the space. They can buy their products. They can do whatever. I don't care, because I know with a fact, right, that they are going to come back to us. I know they are, because I know our competition is just not even on the same level as what we're operating on now, because we innovated at the product level. So I know they're gonna come back at some point. It may be a week later, they may be like, oh my God, this was the worst decision I've ever made. Okay, let's move forward with Scale Clients.io. Or it may be 12 months later, right? Maybe they were getting strung along by the other competitor, and then they realized, actually, this is this is terrible. All this is it's a pretty thing, but it doesn't actually get me the tangible results that I want to get. So then they'll come back to us every single time, every single day of the week, right? And as I said, that's all because of the product level. Now, you've also got the marketing level. Now, obviously, this kind of translated a little bit into marketing, because it's like, well, if you can, if the product can produce bigger transformations, then in the marketing, you can promise bigger transformations, and that's going to help you at the marketing level. But also what stems from the marketing level is, you've also got a cheaper traffic. So finding untapped audiences, right? Because you could, again, have the same products as your competition. You could have, you could be charging the same amount, but if you're getting, booked calls, for example, and everything's the same apart from the marketing metrics. So maybe you're generating, $50 book calls as opposed to, your competition generating $300 book calls. And if, given everything else is the same, the transformation you're delivering, the certainty of that transformation becoming a reality, all that type of stuff is exactly the same. Well, you're able to, or even if you're, generating 50 calls, they're generating $100 book calls, then at that point, you're going to be technically, given every other metric is identical, you're going to be double as profitable, right? And so that comes from marketing. That comes from, finding cheaper traffic, finding more untapped audiences. And what this also comes down to as well is crafting higher resonance angles, ad angles. Right? Because again, if your competition just doesn't really know how to market effectively, they don't really know, the true ins and outs. Maybe this is a funny one. Maybe your competition focuses on media buying, right? They focus on the buying level. And if you've been following me for any length of time, you'll know that the results from advertising does not come from media buying. Okay, but maybe that's where your competition focuses. They focus on finding the best audience, so they try and find the best, the bid strategy or whatever it is, the budget and the scaling. But that's where their focus is. But because you're smart, that the results come from the ad angles. So you triple down on the ad angles and you try and really find the ad angle that just all the stars align and it just slices straight through the noise. And that enables you to, be 4x more profitable or get, your metrics are 4x cheaper at the ad level. That means you're going to be 4x more profitable, provided everything else is the same. And at that point, you're focused on the marketing rather than the product. Now, the true innovation, the true profit, like the real profit, is made at both levels. So they're not mutually exclusive. When you work both of these in together, so you create a ridiculous product that nobody else in your market has got, you innovate at the product level and you also innovate at the marketing level, and you combine that, literally nobody can play with you. Nobody is even on your same level at that point because you're crushing them at every single stage, right? And again, typically they both will intertwine at some point, right? Your ad angles can be far more aggressive, they can be far more bold, they can be far more bodacious if you got a better product, because the better product means you delivered bigger transformations. You deliver those bigger transformations on a more consistent basis, right? So the certainty in the transformation being realized is much higher, which means you can then go into your marketing and start to claim, 10K in your first 10 days. Or we'll place a highly effective sales rep into your organization in 3 days or less, or whatever it may be, right? And so that then instantly gives you a much better angle than your competition because your product actually delivers. So this is kind of my thoughts, at least. This is exactly what we've implemented with Scale Clients.io to literally, like, our competition, as I said before, like, I don't even think about them anymore, right? Because we're not even on the same level. We're not even operating at the same level, right? Because we've just gone so crazy at the product level. And now that we're starting to really advertise Scale Clients.io hard, it's so much easier because the product, I know it's going to deliver. So I can be crazy bold. I can be crazy bodacious in our marketing now because the product delivers every single time, right? So as I say, super powerful stuff. If you're interested in knowing a little bit more about Scale Clients.io itself, maybe you're at 0 a month right now, you're at 50K a month, you're at 100K a month, and you want to get to that next level, click the link below in the bio, in the description below, or in the post above wherever you're watching this video. It will take you to the Scale Clients.io thesis. It's basically a 19-page document that I created around the thesis behind going from 0 to 100K a month and then to 100K and then to 100K a month and beyond. 19 pages, and there's also a 75-minute video bolted onto the thesis itself as well. Trust me, if you do one thing today, it's got to be that you block out a 75-minute block from your calendar and you consume that video. Okay, it's going to entirely change the game for you, I promise. I literally have had customers or prospects consume the video, not even enroll into Scale Clients.io as of yet, and they've already signed clients, they've already changed their offer, they've already restructured their business model based on this Scale Clients.io 19-page thesis. So I highly recommend that you check it out. Okay, so with that being said, I hope this short video here actually brought some value to you, and take action on it, because this is literally how we built Scale Clients.io. Okay, super powerful stuff. With that being said, I will see you in the next one.